behind him, and I got the phone call. You know, thanks to cellular phones, everybody's in communications at all time, and said they were medevacing Billy to the hospital. And, you know, the guys were pretty shooken up. They didn't know whether they wanted to race or not. And I said, look, it don't matter to me, but I know everybody's going to feel a whole lot better if we go down and race and just pick up the pieces and keep going. You know, what else can you do? It's an unfortunate deal. That's why they're called accidents. You know, they're not meant to happen, and it happened. And now we got to concentrate on what we're doing here tonight, you know. The guys are really determined to try and have a good ending to what so far hasn't turned out to be a real good night, but we'll keep working at it, see what happens.
Doug Hoffman is in the log jam in the top 5 in the point standings behind the Skull Point leader Brett Hearn. It's very important for him to turn in a good performance tonight. The fact that he's even here is pretty remarkable.
And, Paul, here's a look at the Skull Point through 14 races. Brett Hearn, a sizable lead in first place. But look at second through fifth, a virtual dead heat with Danny Johnson, Billy Decker, and Jimmy Horton. And there's Doug Hoffman, fifth place, just 13 points out of second. When we come back, we'll start the engines for tonight's CarQuest Dirt Doubleheader on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Hoosier Racing Tires, Sunoco A+ Mini Market, and by CarQuest Auto Parts. Welcome to the pros, CarQuest.
Our Delaware, there's a look at our pole sitter, Darren Roten. Race analysis. We've got 98 laps of championship racing tonight. Caution laps count after the first 25. The purse, $33,000. The winner's share, $6,000. 75 degrees for the weather. Humidity, well, 96%. The winds are light, chance of showers. As for our track description, Gary?
It's a half-mile clay oval, Doug. It's what we call a paperclip track, long straightaways and tight corners. There's a little bit of banking, 7 degrees in the corners, but it's basically flat. The humidity may be causing problems. You can see the track has got some grooves in it already.
Well, let's talk about track conditions. And for the conditions, let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
Guys, just before the feature event tonight, they came out with a water truck, a packer, and a grader, and completely remanicured the half mile here at the Delaware International Speedway. Now, we're on the Delmarva Peninsula, and that means that there's a lot of sand in this clay base. It holds an incredible amount of moisture. Look at how tacky this racing surface is. Now, the question is, will this track get black and slick by the end of 98 laps? And will the smart drivers be the ones who prepare for the oncoming track conditions at the end of the race, rather than setting up for what we've got right now?
Gary, I'm not sure I've ever seen a track look like this.
It's been a long, long time, and Paul's got it exactly right. Do you go for the early race conditions, or do you go for the end of it? We're all going to find out here in a little while.
There's a look at our starting grid for the CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour. And to get things going, here's Rich Pillai.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The engines roar to life as we're getting set for the start of the CarQuest 98.
31 big block Chevrolets, fire-breathing, ground-pounding cars about to go to battle here in this 98-lapper.
The green flag will fly after this. You're watching the CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
Gary Montgomery back in the Delmarva Peninsula for the CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour. And let's take a look at the starting grid. The Delaware start, only one from the front row will start. That's Darren Roten in the 4D4.
Row 2 will be Kenny Tremont and Jamie Mills.
On to row 3, Frank Cozy in the 91 of the super hot Billy Decker.
Greg Mullins and Craig Van Doren share row number 4.
On to row 5, Ricky Elliott and Steve Botcher.
6th row will be Brett Hearn and Roger Loreno.
We'll watch row 7, the 35 of Glenn Reed, and the 2G of Tim McCready.
Row number 8 on the inside will be Kelly Hastings. Alongside will be Wade Hendrickson.
Let's take a look at row 9, the veteran Jimmy Horton, and the 28 of Cliff Foskey.
Row number 10 on the inside will be H.J. Bunting III, a local favorite. Kenny Brightmill's outside.
Row 11, the 35V of Bobby Verne, and the 62 of Rick Bishop.
Row number 12, Scott Richards out of Laurel, Delaware, and Jimmy Chester.
Then it's row 13, Norman Short and Hal Browning.
Alan Johnson and Bobby Wilkins make up row number 14.
Row 15, Danny Johnson, the doctor, and Vic Coffey in the 32C.
And in the back of the pack, row 16, Tim Fuller and Dougie Hoffman.
The starting field for our CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour. And Gary, what a story in the back of the pack with the number 1 of Doug Hoffman.
Dougie will be, he's a veteran. He'll be doing all he can do to get that thing to the front for his mentor and crew chief, Billy Taylor, who's not here tonight.
The pace car pulls away. This is the Delaware start. Only one car fires from the front row. It's Darren Roten. As they come out of turn 4, everybody bunching up. The green flag is out, and the CarQuest 98 is on.
No drag race to be won there. Roten obviously wins the drag race, but Jamie Mills making a move on the inside of the white car number 30.
Kenny Tremont is third as they roar down the backstretch. There's the 3 of Brett Hearn.
We saw a shot of Roger Loreno as well. Here is Frank Cozy working the outside, the blue and white car number 88. He's running in position number 4.
Start for Billy Decker as well. Our leader continues to be Darren Roten. Down the backstretch they go.
Van Doren and Cozy having a battle. Here we go back to the front of the pack with Roten out front, Jamie Mills working the bottom, and Billy Decker right there as they race down the front straightaway.
And on the front straightaway, how about that bump? Craig Mullins and Ricky Elliott got together.
They got together, but they got away with it. Here's a battle for position number 4 or 5 right now, as Van Doren in the 114 has the spot, but he's being pressured by Frank Cozy.
And we have a yellow on the racetrack. It looks like we may have some debris out there, and so it's our first caution of the evening.
Oh, last year this race was won by Jack Johnson. It was a caution-infested affair. I hope we don't have the same deal here tonight, Doug. This racetrack could be a problem. We saw how rough it was at the start. If it doesn't iron out, there'll be a lot of broken cars and yellow flag.
Well, we've got the debris picked up. Leader, Darren Roten. Second place, Jamie Mills. Realign. No Delaware start here. 2 abreast coming around for the green flag. Now in turn 3.
A very active car in the early part of this race is that blue number 2, Craig Mullins. He's a regular here at Delaware. He's anxious to get to the front and take on some of this Skoll Gold here tonight.
All right, green flag back out. Look at that move by Mills down low.
Jamie Mills has a whole lot of horsepower. He dives to the bottom, but isn't able to make the pass. He's been running the bottom all night long, trying to make the pass. And here's Decker. He's getting good bite with a bug chaser car. A little further back, we see Brett Hearn racing. And here we talked about Mullins in the deuce, and he's going to get by Frank Cozy, who gets all crossed up in the blue and white 88. Ricky Elliott making a pass on Cozy as well as they shuffle off into turn number 1.
Leader of that group, Kenny Tremont. There he is in the 115.
Tremont feeling a little racy after his $17,500 win last week at Lebanon Valley. And right now he's racing in position number 5. He doesn't like it. He's gone backwards here. He started in his number 3 spot. He's gone back to run in position number 5.
Mills got inside Roten there for a brief second. There's the number 3 of Brett Hearn.
Hearn trying to run down Frank Cozy, the Windgap, Pennsylvania driver. The CarQuest car seems to be having a handling problem here. He's been all over the racetrack. A little further up here, we see the 114 of Van Doren trying to run down the 3rd place car of Billy Decker. Decker gets the bite out of the corner, and he pulls them by about 3 or 4 car lengths down the back straightaway.
Again, the leader, the 4D4 of Darren Roten. He's out of Seaford, Delaware. 3 career modified wins here.
He's got his hands full right now as Jamie Mills is there. Oh, is he there? They all may have touched. I don't know, but it was certainly close. Jamie Mills making a bonsai move on the inside, has to back out and allow the 4D4 to move on by.
Roten in the yellow 4D4, Mills in the white number 30.
Doug, you know the guy that's got the best seat in the house is Billy Decker. He's right behind this side-by-side duel. He's been there for a long time. He'll let them sort things out, and then he'll try to go to the front. Right now, he's got a little problem in the form of Van Doren, who's making some advances as well. So Van Doren closing in. In fact, he's right there in turn 4.
Good battle up front. 4 cars dueling it out. Early going here in the CarQuest 98.
We just saw a shot over there. You see a shot of Ricky Elliott moving by on the inside of Kenny Tremont. Now, Elliott is from Delaware, but he doesn't race here every Saturday night. He races up at Bridgeport generally, but he likes to come home and win some races here in front of his hometown gang. There's a shot of Mullins in that blue number 2. He's going to the outside of Tremont.
We have another yellow.
And I believe this one again will be for debris, Doug, as there's a problem down in turn number 3.
Second caution period of the night here in Delmar, Delaware.
And I'm not sure if he's looking for, here's a replay. We'll see what happens. Oh, this goes back to that bonsai move on the inside where Jamie Mills got alongside. I don't think they made contact, but boy, there was room for about a piece of paper between the front tire of the 30 and the Nerf bar of the 44.
Got to give Darren Roten a lot of credit for hanging on to that machine.
He's only won 3 times here at this racetrack, and this would be his biggest win ever, but it's, of course, very, very early in the going.
32 years of age, Darren Roten fires down the front straightaway. He's got that advantage, and here's Decker battling for second.
Roten has all kinds of horsepower, but maybe not enough. Decker is there.
Wow, Decker almost passed 2 men to take the lead. Now he's working on our race leader, Darren Roten.
Decker down on the bottom using the lane that had where Mills was working before. Now Mills is going backwards here in a hurry. Here we see Decker in the Bug Chaser number 91 trying to run down Roten in the 44 as they shuffle out of turn 2, and that quite a rut Decker did, lost some ground there. Mills holds on to 3. Now showing in 4 is the 114 of Van Doren.
Roten looking for his biggest win ever. Billy Decker looking to continue what has been an outstanding season for him.
Caution, yellow flag is flying. We've got a problem on the speedway again. Oh, this one is not debris. This is a couple of bent race cars. There's the M1 of Jimmy Horton and the 91 of Hal Bunting III. 2 cars involved in a tangle in turn number 4. Oh, there's damage to the front of Horton's car. Oh, my goodness, the left front wheel and suspension is all pushed back. That's a problem for Horton.
There's the action. Turn 3 and turn 4, and my, that metal got twisted around.
J.D. Johnson and Bobby Varon almost made contact, and going way down the bottom was Kelly Hastings.
So it's caution on lap 12. We'll be back. The CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour. Back at Delaware International Speedway, 12 laps in. Darren Roten is leader, followed by Billy Decker, Jamie Mills, Craig Van Doren, and Ricky Elliott. And the green flag flies once again as Decker tries to pressure Roten, and Roten charges into turn 1.
This kid Roten doesn't yield the pressure at all. Decker may have lost some ground there. There we see another car going way high. That's Vic Coffey, the Sweetener Plus car. Teammate to Doug Hoffman.
Up front, look at Decker way high. He's lost 3, 4 positions.
Decker went in a little too hot, got up on the berm, and it cost him dearly. There you see Ricky Elliott, who started way back in the number 9 spot, and there's that racy Craig Mullins in that blue number 2. Those 2 guys really hammering their way towards the front.
For an update, let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
A rough start to the night for Doug Hoffman in the opening laps of this feature event. He actually got drop kicked to the back of the field while he was trying to work his way up, and now he's come all the way from the rear here at about 1/4 distance to work his way up into the top 10. The Sweeteners Plus number 1 car is definitely working, and Hoffman is certainly focused.
Right now he's focused on Brett Hearn as he looks to the outside of Hearn, dives into turn 3, stays on top in turn 4, catches Cozy in the process.
Good look at that pass by Doug Hoffman. Someone who doesn't have that great a look is standing by in the pits now with our Cowboy Paul Small.
Jimmy Horton here in the pit area as they continue to work on the number M1 machine. Jimmy, a tough break for you early on. What happened on the racetrack that caused this problem?
I was just everybody checked up in front of me, and I just got turned around, and somebody tapped me from the back, and that's all.
Jimmy Horton obviously disappointed, but he's still in the points chase every lap, and every point counts. They're going to try to get this car back on the racetrack.
And yet the drought continues for Jimmy Horton. He has tried so hard to find victory lane, hasn't done it on the Skoal circuit for some time. Meanwhile, back to the front, what a battle.
And trying hard here is Jamie Mills, the youngster out of Delaware, trying to run down his neighbor. He's been doing it early. He lost some ground. He's back up and challenging for the lead. He's got the inside lane. You'd think it would be preferred, but Roten is working on the top.
Mills, the 1994 Modified Dirt Rookie of the Year. First full year at Delaware here in '98, and looks like he's going to get that lead.
He makes the pass finally. Working so many laps. Now, that family has been involved in racing for a long time. A lot of different drivers. The Mills brothers have fielded cars for people like Kenny Brightville, so you know that they've got good equipment. Looking a little further back, here's Van Doren racing alongside the 27 of Ricky Elliott. Elliott on the outside, trying to make the pass, goes up over the berm and loses ground.
How about that for wheel-to-wheel racing? We've got battles all over the track.
And right now the battle is Billy Decker trying to run down Elliott. Now, Elliott's got one of those new Troyer cars. It's not quite an experimental model. It's what Tremont uses at Lebanon Valley. He's won a bunch of races with it there. It's an all-new design. They're trying to make it work here in Delaware, and Ricky Elliott's trying to get the most out of it. That's that white car number 27. He leads Decker down the back straightaway. Decker's got a problem. Here's that racing Craig Mullins again, the purple-blue number 2, and yeah, there's Dougie Hoffman. He continues to march towards the front. The Sweetener +1, Doug Hoffman, Allentown, Pennsylvania driver aboard, and he is on a mission.
Hoffman currently 7th, Mullins 6th.
It's not smooth the way Hoffman's moving through, but he is coming up. Now he's way up on the top. The car tricycles. He gets a great bite of the cushion. That's pretty, but it's not necessarily fast. And it's also not very good on equipment. You can break them in a hurry.
No, it's very visual, but I wouldn't want to be that chassis.
It's what you call dancing with the devil or racing with a chainsaw or something like that. And Hoffman is doing it now. He is really performing for, again, his crew chief and mentor, Billy Taylor, who's not here tonight. They're watching this thing on television back in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
And we're into lap traffic now with race leader Jamie Mills.
Jamie, the leader, has the inside lane, the preferred line around the lap car. That would be Fossick in the number 23 car. He'll go a lap down. He's the first of the cars to go a lap down here tonight. There's Mullins getting out of shape as he tried to move around Decker. That may cost him a spot because Hoffman is there. Hoffman works the bottom. Mullins is really racing. He's all over them. Oh, they're all racing right now. Some rocket ships launching off the berm and on the bottom of turn 2. Mullins in the deuce, and Hoffman in 1, trying to run down. There's the lap car of Coffey about to go a lap down, but the car they're trying to catch is the yellow 91 of Billy Decker, who runs in position number 4.
Hoffman a little sideways, and we have a car slowing on the backstretch.
That's Cliff Bosky, who just got lapped a lap or so ago. The red and gold number 28, I think I called it 23, but it's actually 28, the pep-up car. Bosky from here in Delaware.
So the yellow is out once again at Delaware International Speedway. Jamie Mills is the leader of our CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Track you might remember last year here at the Delaware International Speedway that Ricky Elliott and Doug Hoffman got together coming off the 4th turn when the yellow flag was already out as a result of some incidents that happened on the racetrack during the feature event. Well, guess what? On this particular restart, they're starting side by side. Might be a hot spot to watch.
That's row 3, Gary.
Yeah, hot spot indeed. And remember that Hoffman has come from the absolute last starting position, but there's a problem. We saw him bouncing around the racetrack, and he's torn some of the sheet metal on the quarter panel of the Sweetener Plus car loose. That won't be hanging on there very long.
Well, that's our first visual sign of destruction in these cars.
Yeah, that's a very graphic picture of debris, which will later be on the speedway, perhaps. A yellow. We've got the 30 of Mills, the race leading. Roten, who's been the early leader, is now running in position number 2. Van Doren is 3. Decker is 4. Then we've got Elliott and Hoffman.
Pace car has pulled off, and we are going back to racing. And it's a drag race down the front straightaway. Good jump by Roten.
Roten on the outside. Oh, how many times have we seen this, Doug? Roten outside, Mills on the inside. It looks like the kid's going to get away with it. So Roten goes back up front in the 4D4 Troyer car. A little further back, here we see Dougie Hoffman. He's moved by Elliott. He's now trying to move by Van Doren as well. The debris is, the potential debris is still hanging on. Cozy racing side by side. And here's Hoffman way up on the top over the berm. Van Doren makes a pass. He moves by Decker. Well, not quite. Decker and Van Doren having a battle, but forget about that. Hoffman is there. Hoffman around the outside of Van Doren. He'll try the outside of Decker in turn 4, and it won't work. But Hoffman is really moving through the pack.
A heated battle for 3rd place on the racetrack. There is Elliott in the 27.
Elliott feels some pressure from Van Doren, the driver out of Olney, Pennsylvania, but he's lost some ground now. Van Doren has lost some ground. Elliott has a great seat watching. Hoffman trying to slice his way through the pack. Hoffman trying to contend. Well, there's the debris that has just come off. We'll see if this brings out a yellow, but the sheet metal that was dangling on Hoffman's car no longer dangles there. Cozy gets out of shape. He loses ground as they race out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Frank Cozy, the CarQuest car, owned by Studdy Moody out of Watertown, New York. It's garaged in Wind Gap, Pennsylvania, and Cozy is giving it a good run here tonight in Delaware.
And we remain under green. There's Van Doren and the number 3 of Brett Hearn.
And there's Danny Johnson in the Bramble car 6 that stopped on the top of the racetrack. That'll bring out the yellow flag.
Well, we have the replay. Let's see what happened to the doctor, Danny Johnson.
there's Craig Mullen. And Danny up on top. He just, I don't know if it was contact earlier or not, but it looks like he just drives it up there and parks it. So the RJD trucks, so Danny Johnson has a mechanical problem of some sort. He'll be pushed back to the pit area where Charlie DeAngelis will diagnose the problem and hopefully get his driver back in the field here tonight.
Now, is he going to try to get that thing fired back up again?
I don't think so. He's going to, there's a problem that Charlie's going to try to get it fired up. Charlie DeAngelis, the crew chief, but the car is now being pushed to the pit area off of turns 3 and 4.
And meanwhile, we're set to restart lap 45 of our CarQuest 98 on rush hour. And once again, the leader is Darren Roten with a fine jump as Mills tries down low, and Doug Hoffman is running third.
Hoffman from the back of the pack restarted for Pete Decker on the draw there. He's trying to draw in on the 30 of Jamie Mills now for position number 2. West Colesville, Pennsylvania driver Doug Hoffman in the AC Speed World Sweetener Plus number 1 on a mission here tonight. He's up on the top of turns 1 and 2, dives to the bottom. Oh, look at that from the top to the bottom, and he'll pass Mills to race down the back straightaway.
Hey, that is just a tremendous move.
It's a tremendous move. He's inspired. He's got a whole lot of horsepower from Ron Hunter, and it's all working so far for Hoffman as he powers his way from the back to now run in position number 2.
Cowboy?
Danny Johnson in the RJD car number 6 out of the running here just about the halfway point. Danny undoing the belts in the car right now and getting ready to climb out of the race car. Danny, any idea what's wrong with the race car? You said it wouldn't fire?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's wrong. We either got a ignition problem or a fuel problem of some sort. The engine quit running.
All right, well, a disappointed Danny Johnson, but the fans, a huge throng on hand here at Delaware International Speedway. Anything but disappointed. What a battle for the lead.
They got a couple of Delaware boys mixing it up with a kid from Pennsylvania. The kid from Pennsylvania has come from the back. We quote that on a number of occasions, but it's worth repeating. Now he challenges Mills for the number 2 spot. Slides by on the inside. Can he make it stick? No. Mills fights back. Mills on the bottom will come back to the number 2 spot. Decker is right there. Those first 4 cars running almost, well, up a big blanket, Doug.
Hoffman brushed the wall on the first straightaway.
He's all over the place. With reckless abandon, Dougie Hoffman bounces the car through the cushion, over the cushion, every which way but straight, trying to run down the leaders. Mills runs in position 2. Roten, the kid from here in Delaware, a regular at this track, has only won 3 times, and this would be his biggest win ever. Certainly his most commanding performance ever here at this racetrack.
High for Hoffman once again. Decker takes a peek down low. They may have touched out of turn 2.
This racetrack is rough enough that when they get together, there's probably going to be contact. If they get side by side, I should say, there would be contact. Decker not able to make the pass there. Elliott watches from 5. We've not talked about Brett Hearn. He's been quietly back in the top 10. Right now running in position 6 with the Budweiser car 3. Hearn goes way up to the top of the racetrack. Maybe that's the reason we haven't been talking about it. The car might not be working that well.
Well, or perhaps it's a conservative run.
Or, as we talked about at the top of the show, save your car for the end of the race. The track conditions changing every lap, and he could be set up for the hard slick track that he expects to develop here as we approach lap number 98.
So Brett Hearn takes it high and then digs down. Back to the front. There's Roten, the leader, Mills, and Hoffman.
Hoffman is high 1 minute. You look back, and he's down on the bottom. And Decker flies right behind him. Caution on the speedway.
As comes at lap 57. We'll pick it up. There's the flat right rear. It looks like Tim McCready. Ouch. And we told you this is a dirt doubleheader on rush hour. Earlier, the big block modifieds in front of a huge throng raced at Grandview Speedway in Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania. With our race report, here's Cowboy Paul Small.
It's the Dirt Superstars against the Pennsylvania Posse on Keystone Turf.
The big block modifieds come alive down there in 3 and 4. Hey, fire coming out of turn number 4. Green flag flies. The 98-lap CarQuest on a part. Goldman and Featurement is now underway.
One of the Pennsylvania Posse, Jeff Strunk from the W9 machine, trying to chase down leader Bottcher through turns 3 and 4, makes contact with a lap car, parks it up on the wall through turns 3 and 4. But he's able to drive away and re-enter the fight. Not such good luck for Bottcher, though. When the caution comes out, Bottcher is out of the running in the Zellers Mobile 31. And Tim Fuller, who inherited the race lead, also dropped out in the CarQuest Harriman Trailer Sales number 19. That left the Jet, Brett Hearn, and the Budweiser number 3 on the point, with Jimmy Horton playing the Greyhound to Hearn's Rabbit in the black M1. Bad night for Alan Johnson and not a good finish in the Mitsubishi 24. And the 2G had Tim McCready at the controls, and he didn't have a good night either. Didn't those guys drive different race cars a couple of weeks ago? And a bad night for Danny Johnson ventilating a brand new motor in the Thumb Racing 12T. It was shaping up to be a heroic night for Jeff Strunk, though, battling with the Tabloid Graphics number 19 and perennial dirt star Kenny Brightville, powering around him off turn number 4, then setting his sights on the dynamic duo of Craig Von Doren in the 114, who's turned many laps at Grandview, and Billy Decker in the Bug Chaser from 91. From there, Strunk set his sights on the second-place winning car of Horton.
Back to the outside. He'll stay in it just a little bit longer down there in turn number 3 and 4. Takes the car way up the banking. Out of turn number 4. Call Jeff Strunk to the number 2 position.
Strunk was on his way towards the front, but he tapped the backstretch wall with the Kentworth W9 machine trying to chase down race leader Hearn. That was just enough to bust the back end out of his car off turn number 2 with just 3 laps to go. A devastating end to what was shaping up to be an incredible evening. Doug Hoffman in the Sweeteners Plus One and the Bug Chaser 91 of Billy Decker keeping their eyes on the bigger prize, namely getting good finishes and looking towards that Skull Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series overall title. For Brett the Jet, business as usual, another win and a pad to his point lead.
Back at Delaware, there's Tim McCready in the Ernie Kreis car, bringing out the yellow here on lap number 49.
All right, our coverage of the CarQuest 98 will continue on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour.
Back in the Delmarva Peninsula, Delmar, Delaware, under green for the CarQuest 98. And there is your leader in the 4D4, the yellow, Darren Roten.
Darren started on the pole, or actually all by himself in the front row here in Delaware. That's the tradition down here. By virtue of the draw, he's been up front all race long. Right now, he loses that number 1 spot to Jamie Mills, who's been chasing him all night long. And the guy that's been coming from the back, we've told you about this on a number of occasions, but there is Hoffman trying to make a pass on the inside, spinning the tires on that Hunter-powered car. Could not make the pass.
Great battle for the lead, and how the fans are enjoying it here at Delaware International Speedway. Jamie Mills is the leader.
Darren Roten takes the move on the inside, but it doesn't stick. Hoffman went extremely high on the outside going into turn number 2. They both lost some ground to Mills.
Roten got high. Hoffman went way high in turn 1.
And there, Brett Hearn making a pass on Ricky Elliott. We talked about the conservative race that he was running. Well, he moved into position number 5. We're on lap number 65.
So Brett Hearn is making his run now, huh?
I don't know, but you can never count him out. Brett Hearn, the ultimate professional. He's just made the pass to move into the top 5 for the first time here this evening.
And Brett Hearn, our points leader on the Skull Racing Super Dirt Series.
Only one car in front of him has actually passed him. The other car started up there, and of course that's Hoffman, who's had such a great run. There's Van Doren. He may be losing some ground as he's falling back in the pack just a little bit. Wade Hendrickson there in the yellow and white car number 2. Hendrickson, another Delaware driver.
Oh, look at that.
It's been ragged all night for Hoffman. Well, there it was a little ragged indeed, and contact was made, but apparently no damage was done.
Boy, this is excitement of the dirt circuit.
It certainly is, and Billy Decker's got to be enjoying it. He doesn't necessarily like where he's running, but he's in the thick of things, and he's watching a slam-bang affair in front of him. If they can just slam and bang a little longer, that would open up the door for him. Wharton on the outside of Mills, loses some ground there. Hoffman almost made the pass. Down the back straightaway they go. Hoffman is alongside. Hoffman has made the pass entering turn number 3, but this kid Roten will not give up, but he went in a little too hot, loses some ground. He'll lose the number 3 spot to Billy Decker. So Decker in the Adam Ross Bug Chaser car comes to position number 3.
Roten must be having some handling problems.
He's probably worn out. He's been having a great run all night long, and he's not used to running this many laps, so that could be the problem. Here we've got a battle for the lead. Hoffman, again, started in position 31, down on the inside. Jamie Mills is the leader, but Hoffman is there. They are side by side entering turn number 1, but Mills slams the door in Dougie's face. Dougie gets over the berm on the inside of turn 2 and bounces off a little scheme down the back straightaway.
Absolutely spectacular racing. Jamie Mills, Doug Hoffman, and Billy Decker, 1, 2, 3 at Delaware International Speedway. He'll try it high, Hoffman.
Yeah, Hoffman, but here's to the bottom. He'll now go to the top, and it works for him.
So Doug Hoffman is your race leader in the CarQuest 98, and we have a car slowing on the front straightaway.
That's Kelly Hastings, but the story of this race is Doug Hoffman is our new race leader.
With his crew chief, Billy Taylor, laid up in the hospital. Doug Hoffman leads our race. Let's go down to Cowboy Paul Small.
With Herb Bowman down here in the pit area with the Doug Hoffman pit crew. First off, Doug is having a tremendous charge up through the field. You guys have got to be thrilled.
We are very thrilled. We're going to try to win this one for Billy.
Tell me, you were sitting right in the transporter when the crash happened?
That is correct. Passenger seat.
Tell me what happened.
It happened all real quick. Truck stopped suddenly in front of us. We had no place to go, and that was it.
I guess the best news, though, is that Billy's going to come out of this okay.
We all made it. So, I mean, you know, right now we're doing everything here to try to win this for Billy.
Well, it's quite a story, as Doug Hoffman looks like he is in position to win this one for Billy. And we have a battle for second and third and fourth as Decker joins the fray.
Hoffman out front runs away, but here's a great side-by-side battle. This kid, Roten, has been a story of the race of sorts. He started up front. He's been there all race long. Hoffman, of course, makes the move from the back, but Roten, we've never heard of. I don't think he ran the school race here last year. Didn't qualify for it or whatever. He's certainly qualified and certainly running well. Jamie Mills, we know all about him. But this kid, Darren Roten, is doing a great job running now in position 3.
32 years of age, racing some 13 years. We mentioned only 3 career modified wins. This would be quite a feather in his cap, and we've got problems.
The great night that this kid has had. It looks like it's all over because he's off the racetrack, drove it up there. He's been bouncing the car all over the place. Maybe we can see what happens.
15 laps from the checkers.
Yeah, and he caught the rut, and some suspension part came off the car, and that's going to be all she wrote for Darren Roten. The kid who started on the pole played a major factor in this race.
Well, he's got it fired up, but that is not in race conditions. Look at the problem there. Well, production support for Rush Hour on Dirt provided by Free State Industries. On the Delmarva Peninsula, for all types of heavy construction help, call Manson Jones for an uplifting experience. Rush Hour on Dirt apparel furnished by Bob Hilbert Sportswear. You can give him a call at 610-367-6186. Bob Hilbert Sportswear. Our leader is the number 1 of Doug Hoffman, and we're set to go back to green.
Hoffman, Mills, Decker, Dennis Ricky Elliott running in position number 4. The lap's winding down here. A storybook finish in the making, perhaps. Hoffman from the back to the front, but Mills is not going to let this story get away from him.
Mills down low on Doug Hoffman, and a bump right there in turn 4.
Oh, contact sport, but that's not the way you're supposed to pass. Mills moves around Doug Hoffman. Hoffman losing composure. Perhaps he's losing some ground for sure. Decker is there, trying to pounce by and make over the number 2 spot.
And right behind Decker is Brett Hearn, but we'll look and see if Doug Hoffman can handle it all in turn 4. He's really fighting that machine and that track.
It didn't look like a lot of contact, but it has upset something on the Sweetener Plus Car 1. Hoffman not able to mount a challenge. In fact, he's got a challenge for the bug chaser, Billy Decker. Decker is right there, and just showing in your screen is Brett Hearn.
Final laps of our CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour. Mills the leader, Hoffman second, Decker third, fourth is Brett Hearn.
We don't normally call Hearn quiet, but he's been quiet here all night. Running in the top 10 all night long, but not very much up front. No contact with anybody or anything. Just steadily working his way, hoping to last the 98 laps here tonight.
Well, Mills, with a very forceful move in turn 4, took over the lead. Now Doug Hoffman is trying to get Mills back in his sights, but he's really struggling.
Yeah, there's something wrong for sure with the Sweetener Plus car. Carl Myers and Ann Coffey, the owner of that, the AC Speed World team. They're Big story, of course, their hauler in that highway accident earlier, their crew chief in the hospital.
A look at Brett Hearn in the number 3.
Hearn's running a different line than most of the drivers. He's up on the top or towards the top, where everybody else is pretty much digging to the bottom if they can make their car stick there. Jamie Mills, our race leader, Hoffman maybe is drilling him in just a little bit.
Well, so Doug Hoffman looking to battle back into contention as now we see Decker and Hearn at for 3rd and 4th position. Can Decker hold Hearn off? Here comes Hearn on the charge.
Hearn dives to the bottom as they move down the back straightaway. Decker closes the door in turn 3, but drifts high in turn 4, opens the door, but Hearn will stay on top.
So it's Mills and Hoffman and Decker, at least for now, holding off the Budweiser number 3 of Brett Hearn, who goes way high in turn 1.
Yeah, Hearn's car, that's just too far out. He's not going to be able to make it work up there. Too far around the racetrack if he stays on top and Decker runs the middle or the bottom. Mills out front with Hoffman running too. Here's the battle for position. Oh, there's Doug Hoffman. Something finally goes awry, and Hoffman's car, the great ride, is over for Dougie Hoffman.
He has had his hands full with that car ever since the collision in turn 4 with Jamie Mills, and finally an abrupt end to the evening for Doug Hoffman. What a story he has been here this evening.
He has been sensational for sure, but it won't result in a checkered flag.
Well, here's a look at the replay, and he just drove that baby right off the track.
Yeah, something was breaking on that car ever since the incident. Boy, he made contact with whatever those, I guess those are tires down off of the turn, and heavy contact there, but the damage was done before he got to the tires. There was something wrong.
So the night comes to an end for Doug Hoffman, but still very much in the limelight. The number 30 of Jamie Mills. Can he win the CarQuest 98? We'll have the race to finish on Rush Hour. With Gary Montgomery, we have a trophy dash to the finish. Bumping in turn 4, back under green. We have green, white, and checkers here at Delaware International Speedway.
Jamie Mills leads, but boy, does he have somebody working on him. Billy Decker on the, oh, contact down the back straightaway. Decker flies by and takes the lead. Billy Decker out of Franklin, New York leads, but Mills fights back.
Oh my, this is a collision sport, isn't it?
Collision contact sport, call it what you want, but right now we've got Decker out front trying to avoid contact with anybody or anything. He won on the mile at Syracuse on the 3rd of July. He'd love to win here in Delaware. He leads Jamie Mills into turn number 3. Mills fights back, loses a little ground in 4.
And down the front straightaway, the white flag is out. The leader again, Billy Decker. Mills second, Brett Hearn a distant 3rd.
Decker able to stretch out a little bit of advantage over Mills now as they race to the checkered flag.
Mills down the back straightaway, but he can't chase down the butt chaser. The number 91 of Billy Decker is the winner of the CarQuest 98 on Rush Hour.
Billy Decker is having an absolutely sensational year. He's been at this game for a while, but it's all turned around for him in 1998. He's winning at Weedsport, Canandaigua, and Brewerton. His weekly tracks, he's doing a great job on the Skoal Series as well.
We'll head to Victory Lane when we return on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Barkan. Join us for the next Daily News Live Monday at 5. We'll look back on the entire weekend in the sports world, talk about the NFL, week number 4, plus the great Home Run Derby. Major League Baseball also heading to the playoffs, and we'll set the stage. Marcus Hayes and Kevin Mulligan among our guests. All of that and more on the next Daily News Live Monday at 5.
With his second win in the Skoal Bandit Racing Super Dirt Series for 98, Billy Decker is the winner here at Delaware International Speedway, and we head down to Victory Lane.
A smiling Billy Decker down here in Victory Lane, and no wonder that was one whale of a finish.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a heck of a race in front of me all night, and I kind of felt it was going to turn out into a duration race. You know, the track's a little bit rough, and it was kind of hard on equipment. And we got a little hot there, and I didn't want to race with anybody, and my motor was pretty warm, and we just needed to take a shot at it there at the end, and we just got lucky enough and pulled it off.
Did you think this car had enough gumption to pull that move?
Well, I didn't know, you know, but when you're sitting there in second and there's a few laps to go, and that's where everybody's making it work, we more or less had to try the same thing, and I think we were just quite lucky to get off the second turn over there in front.
To win the Skull Championship, Billy, you got to win races, and tonight you did something you wanted to do all year. You beat Brett the Jet.
Yeah, I know it's tough to beat the guy in points when he beats you every week on the Skull Series, but this Bug Chaser crew's been doing a heck of a job for me all year, and we've had good competitive cars in every event we've been in. Just hopefully we can get the jingles out of our system and win some more of these races.
Congratulations, Billy Decker. Let's take a look at the official order of finish.
So Decker adds some Skull points to his resume. Hearn, the 5-time winner, comes home in position 3. Van Doren is 5. Hendrickson 6.
Alan Johnson finishes 7th. Doug Hoffman 10th.
Darren Wolton, that great ride, comes up short. He finishes in number 14 spot. Danny Johnson, you saw him fall out. He finishes 17th.
And a top 20 finish for Jimmy Horton. He's disappointed with that. Tim McCready ends up 22nd.
And finishing in the back of the pack, some local favorites, Hal Browning and Norm Short.
All right, there's Billy Decker out of the car, a very happy winner of the CarQuest 98. Let's go back down to Cowboy Paul Small.
Jamie, you led a lot of laps in this one. Towards the end, it looked like you were going to win this one, and then that Bug Chaser car went sailing around you.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that last caution come out. We were having some problems on restarts. The carburetor was loading up, and just it would take us 2 or 3 laps to get going. And, you know, I held my line and did everything the same, and, you know, Billy just went in there. He took a shot, and, you know, it paid off for him. He could have easily pushed off the track, and you know, I won, and, you know, and that's just the way it goes, you know. Today, he's a hero, you know.
You had a terrible string of bad luck at the beginning of the season here. How did it feel tonight to be running up front all race long?
Well, this is what we've worked for this season. We haven't really hit anything. Last week we come here and we were pretty good, and I really felt good coming in tonight. And you know, we worked to come down here, and you know, there's nothing better than be able to run with these guys, and especially at your home track.
See what happened with Hoffman?
Yeah, I didn't see when he got off here. Me and him got together a little bit up there. It wasn't nothing intentional. I got a good run on him, and he pushed up, and you know, he started coming down. I started going up, and we met in the middle, and you know, that's racing.
And it was a good race indeed. When we come back, we'll wrap things up on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour on Dirt.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Racing Electronics, Race Team Communications, Eckert, it's right at Eckert, and by Suzuki and your local Suzuki dealer.
Doug Logan along with Gary Montgomery back at Delaware International Speedway. What a night for Doug Hoffman. He's down in the pits with Cowboy Paul Small.
This is the steering arm for the Doug Hoffman race car. You can see how bent it is, and Doug, this pretty much put paid to what could have been a fairy tale ending to a rather difficult day for you.
Yeah, isn't it something, you know, when it rains, it pours, and bad luck just keeps on coming. But it's got to turn, you know, it can only get so bad, it has to turn around.
I know you're disappointed with the outcome, but during the feature event, your car was incredible.
You know, I got to give the guys a lot of credit, you know, especially my brother Dave, who helped me a long time ago. And we've been in situations where we came down here and we ran a heat race as a hot lap and didn't have a real good race car and made a lot of changes and went out in the Consi and still wasn't any better, and then made a bunch more changes. And about 2 laps in, I said, you know what, I think these guys give me a pretty decent race car. If I stay out of trouble, we might have a shot at this. And worked our way all the way to the lead. I caught a rut the 1 lap, and that cost me the lead. And Jamie Mills was going real good, and I figured, you know, maybe he'll catch a rut and we can get him back. But steering arm breaks, go over the bank, into the wall, end of story.
Was the contact with Mills responsible for this?
You know, there was a lot of contact out there all night long. I can't pinpoint any particular incident. You know, I'm sure getting together with him, and I got together with the wall earlier, you know, none of that stuff helps the situation. The track was, you know, a little bit rough, and we were bouncing around out there quite a bit. So, you know, it takes its tolls on these race cars. And I ran the thing hard the whole race, and you know, to win this race, you had to run hard. I mean, you weren't going to win this race by just backpedaling it, and I ran hard, and we had a shot to win, but, you know, you take the chances of breaking a race car, and that's what happened.
Doug Hoffman ran hard all race long, and he almost made it to victory lane tonight.
Almost, but it doesn't count. In the stock car racing, they'll all remember the race winner. Few will remember the great ride that Doug Hoffman had here from last to first, but he didn't finish in that #1 spot.
And the winner, the 91 of Billy Decker. For Gary Montgomery and Paul Small, Doug Logan saying thank you for joining us on Rush Hour, and so long for now.